Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Raynday Gaming. Are you excited about the new legend in Apex Legends, Revenant? Or maybe this has been out for a while, you just got into Apex Legends and you don't know how to play this character who is a super cool assassin who was used to be the best mercenary the Syndicate ever had. Well, I'm going to give you some tips, some tricks, some combo guides, and obviously some in-depth discussion about his abilities and how to most take advantage of Revenant and what he offers to a team in Apex Legends. This is an episode called How to Play, and if you guys like this, leave a thumbs up on the video, comment down below any tips you might have thought I might miss, and let me know if you want me to do this for other legends as well, because it does go in a different way kind of than most usual gameplays. This is much more focused on teaching as well as showing off some cool gameplay in the background. The first thing we need to know about Revenant that a lot of people get themselves caught up on is how you play him, as far as his aggressive nature or his support style nature. Which one is better for a legend like this? Well, an assassin often gets people thinking, yes, you have to play Revenant like an aggressive style character. He just goes in, you look at the video, the cinematic, and he just barges in through the window, but that gave people the wrong impression. Revenant is very much a kind of lurking in the shadow type legend, and if you play him like that, you are going to have so many more resources to your utilization than all of the other players that you go up against, because you have a second life and you can use it really, really well. Now let's talk about his first ability, which is his passive. His passive is called Stalker, and it allows you to crouch slower and wall climb higher than other legends. A couple of interesting notes here is the walking speed is the same as his normal walking speed. So you can crouch walk and have none of your footsteps be heard while you're also moving in. This helps for approaches, like I said, that more silent, deadly style. I'm moving closer to this enemy, he doesn't see me, he doesn't hear me, and I'm getting a better chance to be able to knock him down. The Wraith going into the void there to try to avoid some damage as well. Again, another shot, Caustic not hearing my footsteps, using that crouch to my advantage as much as possible. Revenant can also climb walls, which means he can be in different positions, chasing down enemies in ways other players who aren't playing things like Pathfinders can't, and also eluding players, meaning you can run away and then obviously crouch, lower your footsteps, and then be able to get out of a fight. Right now, we do have the pressure, and this is what I like about playing Revenant. You can be aggressive here. We're running out of resources, no shield cells, so we're considering using a battery because that's pretty much what we might have to offer. But again, the patient play is something I see a lot of Revenants not use. By that way, 75 damage, 3 headshots in a row from the Spitfire. This guy probably thinks I'm cheating, and now we have a chance to potentially push up. Now, me pressuring this is sometimes a little harder, but on Revenant, because I know I can get up that wall pretty quickly, any legend could have done this, by the way, I have a chance to capitalize. Now, you'll see there, I throw my passive, meaning the Wraith. She's in a bad spot, but she cannot use Into the Void. She's locked out of her abilities for 10 seconds, and that means that my teammates can follow up and hopefully find a down. I'm again letting them take the pressure now, and now that I've healed, I can go rotate and try to find a kill. And this is all about what Revenant can do. Playing from this passive way, limiting the enemy's abilities to maneuver, to chase around, and also being this backline support, which I think is going to be where he thrives as a legend. So we've talked a lot about Stalker. There's nothing crazy except knowing that you can ADS while in your crouch form like this and move at a pretty quick clip. You do have the ability to kind of be lower, be slower, and obviously be a little bit under, less under fire than most situations. The Death Totem coming out here as well, and using it to just patiently look and maneuver as to where these enemies are. I do get hit by that Caustic barrel, and you'll notice that only my health is being taken down. That means that it's simply a matter of health and not of shielding. I die immediately thanks to the gas, but we're able to finish up the Caustic. We can go ahead and see if he has any meds instead of using that Phoenix kit just for our health there. But that was a really good use of every single ability of what our man Apex Legends new legend Revenant can do. Let's talk a little bit about that moment with the Wraith. The Stalker is, the Silence, his tactical ability allows you to throw a device that deals damage, 10 damage, not very much, but disables enemies' abilities for 10 seconds. Now, there's a few notes to gain on this and just to understand as a player. As it doesn't disable passive abilities, you got to watch out for Gibraltars. Their arm shield is still going to be there. Passives will still be there. I'm trying to think of another one that's an appropriate passive. Oh, Octane's health regen. That is still going to happen even though you throw it. However, you do have to understand that it will silence your own abilities. I believe your teammates are safe. But because you're using your only ability outside of your ultimate, unless you want to use your ultimate, it doesn't matter if you throw it at your feet like I did, because yes, you'll be silenced, but you're using your only ability. You know what I mean? It's not like you're really getting locked out of anything unless you're trying to go for a quick ult. The greatest thing about this that people get wrong, and I talked about this in my other video, is that people try to use it to initiate fights. And yes, that's great. It does put people into a bind, but wow, a little zip there. One of the best things about it is that it can allow your pressure to increase in a good situation. That means that if you've got a Wraith in a bad spot, and typically she would want to Q into the void, invulnerable, get around that corner and heal up, you could throw it right at her foot to make sure she cannot do that. I like adding pressure in the middle of a fight when they aren't expecting it, like here, so that now she can't get anywhere and I can clean up this mess. Just gonna grab some heavy ammo real quick and then get my teammate back up so that we can get back as a full unit again. A lot of kills, a lot of mayhem in this new capital city, which I actually love. Fragment West, Fragment East feels so much more fun to play with. My opinion is that this should stay. I hope it does. I really, really love this area in the map. All right, so hopefully you guys are learning a little bit about his passive, obviously about that Stalker ability. I want to talk a little bit more now about the Death Totem, now that we've covered Silence as well. The Death Totem is one of those things that people feel is your aggressive aspect of your kit, but truly it is almost just like a safety plan. Think of it like money you might be investing monthly, just in case something might be unexpected or not the way that you intend. As you can see here, crouching, trying to move, get an angle so they don't hear my footsteps directly. This is the patient play that I want to see you guys start to enable yourselves to do while you're playing Revenant, because it does allow you to get angles like this that people aren't expecting. People aren't looking at. That Pathfinder doesn't quite know I'm there. Obviously having a couple of shots and trying to look to finish him off. I am going to drop down here to see what I can do. And there it is. That's an easy clean up there. And it looks like we're just going to go ahead and try and get that kill to our name. I like doing that sometimes because it can get an enemy team feeling very discouraged, considering the fact that they know now, even if we win this fight, we can't revive him. We've got to go pick up his banner. We got a certain amount of time to do that. And also, unfortunately, we're in a bad spot where we've got to then find a respawn beacon. Again, finding these angles, kind of using my teammates to create some energy, and then now knowing that it's time to go, I added that Death Totem. Unfortunately, they cleaned up the other one, but that was a good decision to do. The enemy didn't know where the Death Totem was, which is number one. You can't Death Totem in the middle of the road and say, hey, yeah, I'm coming at you, because people will then know what your situation is. They'll know where your totem is. They'll be able to capitalize on you right when you blink back to it, because, of course, as you get killed in that Death Totem, it only takes health damage off of you. When your health completely depletes from an enemy or from the ring or from any other source like caustic gas, you will then go directly back to where your totem is, as long as your totem is not destroyed. If your totem is destroyed, you will then be losing your shadow form, and you will essentially be vulnerable, so you might have put yourself in an aggressive position and then have no way to retreat. This is one of the big mistakes as well, so try to avoid that if you can by hiding your totem out of plain sight. Another way to go about it too is using it as more of a, like I said, condition. Like maybe I can use my totem, put it next to me. I could take a fight. I don't have to commit my positioning yet. I could stay high ground, and then I can try to poke. And even if I do poke, I'll respawn undercover back where my totem is. He'll have to use his shield cells, his shield batteries, etc., etc. And then I'll just use a med kit, heal back up. My shield will be regenerated because you'll go back with full shields to your totem and basically 1 health. And we'll go back to the fight. But I will have used my resources better than he potentially will have. And so these are the little things that will make a Revenant shine in the game. Now, that's all of Revenant's abilities put together, and I think if you can master the idea that Revenant is less about just going in gun-ho and more about tactically supporting your team, finding ways to be tricky, finding ways to truly be a little stealthy as well with your crouching, getting into interesting angles and high ground because you can access those places easier than most other Legends except Pathfinder, maybe Octane. I think that is where Revenant is going to shine in Apex Legends. I would be lying, though, guys, if I said that this is all there was to talk about, because I think weapons go along with this, and I wanted to mention that in this video. But I also want to mention just that I think Revenant is currently not in the best position to be taken over the high-level ranked scene and also competitive esports, which obviously I'm involved in, I cast, and I'm really, really proud of being a part of that team. The big thing for me, though, is that Revenant doesn't have quite what he needs as far as competing against a Watson, competing against some of these other main type legends that would serve this support role, especially Gibraltar right now. And one of the suggestions that people have been writing about is maybe taking away his low profile, 5% extra damage to him because he has a weird hitbox, or maybe increasing the value, maybe the damage, or maybe adding a you can't heal or use a shield cell when you get hit by a silence as well. These are all cool things. If you have any ideas, go ahead, list them in the comment section below. I do believe there is something to those suggestions, and so I want to just make sure that they're heard overall. Now, looking at weapons. Weapons is a big one, and I know I just mentioned it very passively before we get to weapons. Low profile. Yes, Revenant does have 5% extra damage, so you do have to be aware that you're going to take a fight against someone like a Gibraltar. It's pretty much a 15% damage swing because you've got to do 10% more damage to him because he's got that Fortify passive, and also you have 5% more damage coming to you. So you have to be maybe 15% more careful because he can hit those shots a lot less and still win in a trade, especially when you add his shield on top of that. It becomes a pretty hard fight for you to win unless you get the advantage early on. When you talk about weapons, I think Revenant works well with two different styles of weapons. Constant pressure, like you're seeing here with Spitfires and Havocs. I think this is actually very nice for Revenant because he is that kind of guy that when he gets a life lead and he's got a shadow form, it's very, very good for him because then you've got to chase him back. But if he's burned too much damage, or if he's keeping you in that kind of line of sight, if he's keeping you in an area with heavy Havoc fire or heavy Spitfire, I like the way that works. You set up nicely for his tactical to be thrown. You can get a nice Stalker off. I'm going to use a Death Totem here and just, again, use this opportunity to go and try to flex my ability to zone and to see what's happening and to engage teams while still being able to transport back if things go wrong and join up with my team. The big problem about this is that it's very on the edge as far as near where this fight is. And if you see, I go out of this blue circle, I am going to lose my shadow form. So I've got to stay right here if I want it to be relevant. I see somebody on the roof just trying to take a couple of shots as well. A few headshots, so about 50 damage on a blue shield. Almost taking that completely off, but now I've lost my passive due to the fact that, of course, the timing, I believe, has run out on it. You only have a limited time as well, and you can only use it once. That goes for your teammates also. A big little note is that, truly, is that enemies can also use your Death Totem, so beware not to put it close to them because of that also. Now, another version of weapons that I found works pretty well with Revenant is a sniper as well as something like a peacekeeper. Having the close range, long range is very nice because it helps him to, again, maintain that tactical range where he can keep an eye on the battlefield, use that poke to his advantage, have those extra resources like an extra life to be able to fight and trade, but also when he gets up close, which inevitably he may when he's sneaking around or trying to find a better position for his teammates, be able to finish people off quickly and add that burst that not everyone is hoping for to receive. Big shots here from the Spitfire, and there you see we've locked him down with the Spitfire, and we've got the kill thanks to the Stalker. He's got constant pressure. It allows me to know exactly where he is, and then he's down as a result of it. You can see that 10 damage. You could throw it behind an enemy and thus allow them to kind of be cornered to either go forward towards you or to be hit by it. 6 seconds left for that, and the Pathfinder, who I hit up top, actually somehow gets up, and then of course we knock him down yet again. Tons of damage. Really nice play. My teammates actually looking pretty good as well as this game continues on. A lot of people have talked about the combo guides of throwing the Stalker as well as, throwing the Silence as well as throwing grenades, and that is a reasonable and great way to do it. However, you do have to understand that you're committing a lot by doing that. I like to wait to use my Silence until I know that I'm going to hit them. I don't like these long-range 50 bombs, 100 bombs right for it. I like to either create zoning pressure, like if I throw it here, essentially, I'm going to hit both of them as they come in. The Pathfinder cannot use his grapple. The Lifeline cannot use her shield. However, we are getting pressured out. They've got 2 arc stars as well, and so it's kind of moot. However, that means the Pathfinder cannot push me, and it allows me to get back up here and try to take some high ground as I try to pop this med kit. It's getting very, very close because the pressure is on. Revenant looking to climb, but I'm getting hit by both different sources, and so now it's time to try and finish off the Lifeline, and we will end up getting a couple of kills there, and we've got a shield battery as well. But the ring is starting to close. Things are getting a little crazy, and I'm just trying to get some high ground, and this is one of the benefits of Revenant. He's going to give you that little hop up at the end of a climb, and so even though he will start fast and sometimes be a little slower, I realize I can't get this Phoenix kit off. It's time to start moving in towards this circle, and hopefully I'm able to survive. I don't think my teammates can make it. I cannot recover them. The circle's moving too fast. One more tick and I would have been dead. I just need to try and get the syringe off, but I know that team is definitely fast approaching. This gold backpack However, body shield is definitely helping me out, and we're just going to try to space out. I could have climbed there potentially, but I don't think there's enough time for this pressure. I could try to go up, but I think I will get shot. And so what I'm going to simply try to do is hold this ground. I've got a lot of shielding on them and try to keep them in this choke. And here's a great thing to do it. You talk about those combos of grenades and the silence. Let's see if we can do it here, because we do have our silence and we do have another grenade and an arc star, I believe, and a thermite. So we're going to just pop the ult. We're going to throw that. If they have to go through, they're going to get hit by that. Their abilities will not work. But unfortunately, he already got his Gibraltar Dome off and throws his ult. Things are not looking good here for the Revenant squad, and we're trying to use everything that we know. Unfortunately, I used the shield battery, panicking just a little bit, and we got to see if we can get syringes off, but it seems like the pressure is there. They're pushing as a unit, and this is no good, because now I've got to fight with barely any health to my name. Hitting a ton of havoc shots, though. This could be it, but oh no, the Gibraltar takes me down. But overall, this is a good showcase of what Revenant can do. I think I ended with 8 kills there in that game. This is the guy who finally finished me off and ended up taking kill leader from me. Just long story short, this team isn't that great, and they end up winning against a team that's even worse, trying to punch them at the end of this. Unfortunately, I think if my teammates were alive, we would have won this game. But overall, this is really a game that I wanted to highlight to show you good uses of the Death Totem, good ways to not overcommit, to place your totem in safe spots, to use it as an opportunity. Like I said, you're slowly investing that rainy day fund. Yes, you have the opportunity to go and use an extra life, but you don't need to spend it and waste it all. Hopefully, this answers some questions about Revenant and some of his abilities. Hopefully, some of the little interactions, like enemies being able to use your Death Totem, some of the basic things, if you haven't played Revenant as well, help you. And hopefully, this is a good guide for you visually on some ways you could support your team while also still being a very effective Revenant yourself and gaining your own stats. That's it for this video. Please leave a like, comment down below what you thought about the vid, subscribe to stay tuned for more, and let me know if you want to see more how to plays on any of the other legends as well in Apex Legends. I'm prepping for a bigger video coming out as far as tactics and tips that I really want to restart from a series I used to do back when I first covered Smite, but you'll have to wait and see what that's all about. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Never give up, never stop gaming. I'll see you all next time.